Here we're going to have a little video walkthrough of the Iannelli 125th birthday month art exhibit here at Iannelli Studios Heritage Center in Park Ridge. We're starting off here in the resource room with a pencil sketch on note paper from January of 1921. This was shown at the Iannelli's one-man show at the Art Institute in December of 1921. I'll linger a little bit on each picture, but if you want to linger further, there's always the pause button. Next we have a little bit of an abstract phase, probably done in the 1930s. This is very similar to Ferdinand Ledger's Three Women from 1921 that Iannelli likely saw. He's stylized the women. This one, desktop shapes, probably from the 1950s. These three works and most of the works in the show were graciously loaned to us by Mr. David Jameson of ArchiTech Gallery in Chicago. This is a 1916 sketch, leg studies. The paper it's mounted on is from 1921. Again, this was shown in that 1921 one-man show in at the Art Institute. Two nudes, probably from the 30s. This is, I think, the oldest piece in the show, 1908, tempera, cardstock, a vendor, street vendor, possibly an illustration for Harper's Weekly cover. And below it we have an overmantel design, an alternate design that was presented to Dr. Bauer. He did a mantle design for him. This was one of the alternate suggestions for the design. This is from the 1920s. Moving along, we jump to, well, of course, we have the two-dimensional replica Madonna to remind us that we still need to raise some money to bring the Iannelli Studios Madonna that was on the doorway of Immaculata High School, designed by Barry Byrne in the early 1920s. An 11-foot sculpture that was probably sculpted in large part by Edgar Miller, working under Iannelli's direction right here in this room, or at the studios. Here we have Get the Guns, a propaganda poster design from the 1940s. And next, one of the larger works in the show. This is one preliminary design for the Rock of Gibraltar on the Prudential Building around 1954. Iannelli toyed with the idea of giving the rock a blue background so it would stand out better on the building, which of course did not happen. Portrait of Alfonso to grace the exhibition. This line print map of Park Ridge belonged to Alfonso Iannelli. He is reputed to have been involved in the Park Ridge Planning Commission from very early on during his residence here. And this was given to Kalo Foundation's Iannelli Studios Heritage Center by David Jameson. There's no date on it, but it predates the extension of Greenwood Avenue across the railroad tracks and up to Northwest Highway. On View Gallery lent us 4 photos by Russell Phillips, a local photographer. This from 1984 of the Iannelli interior designed Pickwick Theater. This is the iconic statue near the men's room in the basement. And then we have several works that show the Orpheum posters, sketches for arrangements of the posters. These were, the Orpheum posters were done and meant to go with each other. They were mounted in brass frames in the lobby of the Orpheum. As you can see, the designs were meant to continue the eye from one poster to the next. So these were from about 1915. This one shows Charles Prell, the Big City Four, an unidentified one, and Maria Lowe and Company, identified from the posters. And a similar sketch showing the arrangement. This is a study for an unidentified mural, again from around 1915. I apologize for the reflections. This is a design for the Winnebago County Courthouse entrance from 1937. And quite a bit of detail in there as you get closer to it. Next we have 2 more Russell Phillips photos of the Pickwick exterior and the marquee, which they just repainted. It was very likely designed by Iannelli. Certain elements of it were for sure. And then the opposite view down the hall of the ladies' lounge, which did not get a statue. We have a design for Bullock's store windows in Los Angeles. Bullock's was on Broadway across the street from the Orpheum Theater. This is from about 1914. Really quite a modern looking design for store windows. This is a pencil sketch Iannelli did of the Frank Lloyd Wright designed Thomas P. Hardy House, which was built in 1905 in Racine, Wisconsin. Probably done around 1924 when he and Barry Byrne were in Racine building the church there. The Park Ridge Tennis Club, beautiful drawing that, and again, we don't know if this was built, where it was built. Was it on the present country club site or somewhere else in Park Ridge, or did it was just an idea that never happened? Pen over pencil sketch of a setback high-rise, again, that was not built, just an idea. Tim Samuelson loaned us this spectacular theater study of the Park Ridge Theater. There's some debate about whether this was a proposed theater for Mr. Malone on the site of the Pickwick, or whether this, other people say it looks very, very much like the old Ridge Theater, right near where City Hall is now, with backing up to the railroad tracks that later became an indoor ice skating rink. This is a design for St. Mary's Church in Michigan City, Indiana, for the remodeling remodeling of the sanctuary interior and carving of the altar screen, 1928. Moving into the blue room, the Kalo room, we have a couple of designs for modern movie theaters. They were done as illustrations for Iannelli's article in Exhibitors Herald World magazine for August 21st, 1930. So again, these are just concepts of theaters. And of course, we know he thought a lot about theaters because he also did Pickwick, of course, as well as the Kalo Theater in Barrington. This is a 1929 preliminary design for an exhibition hall for the Adler Planetarium. Of course, he also designed the Zodiac bronzes. And another Russell Phillips photo of the interior of the Pickwick showing the rarely seen Iannelli designed fire curtain. Beautiful design. Over here we have a grouping relating to the Communications Pavilion at the Century of Progress. This is a preliminary design for the radio entrance, one of several that were sent to Lee Lowry in 1931. There was then a quarter-scale maquette made of plaster that was constructed here at the studios. This shows some of the detail from that. And another shot of that. These are photo prints from 1933, including this one, which is now part of the Kalo Foundation collection here at Iannelli Studios Heritage Center, showing the unveiling of that quarter-scale maquette right here in these very studios in 1933. Finally, we have David, a spectacular 9-foot-tall, actual-size cartoon that was done for the creation of the stained glass window at St. Patrick's Church in Racine, Wisconsin, which he co-designed with Barry Byrne, 1924. So this was done to map out exactly how to create this particular stained glass window, a pattern, if you will. Above the display case, we have two of the reproduction Orpheum posters that were donated to us. These were done shortly after Iannelli's death to raise funds in limited editions and are quite scarce now. Of course, the originals are all originals on tempera. They were never reproduced in quantity at the time. In our display case, we have a couple of doorknobs from the Chicago Stock Exchange building on LaSalle Street, which of course was demolished in 1972, built in 1893 by Adler and Sullivan. We have a couple of books that were designed by Margaret Iannelli, including this one that has an inscription to her son Fonz. We'll see if it'll focus on that for us. Reads, to Alfonso from Mother, Alfonso Iannelli, his book. Can't get the focus quite right. A couple of baby talc tins that were also designed by Margaret, although this one on the shelf below is also attributed to Edgar Miller, who apparently took over some of that business when Margaret moved to the mental institution. Another Margaret book. We have a book, We the Musk Chasers, designed by Ruth Blackwell in 1921 for her very good friend Lorene Aber, who we're learning more about all the time. And we have the end papers from the Spalding Iannelli Family Bible, which made its way to us courtesy of Katie Ralph in a box of things that Fonzie Iannelli had asked the Ralph family to hang on to for him. The Bible itself is in a protective box, and these pages with the birth dates, death dates, marriage dates, and so forth are in protective encapsulation. We have again donated to us a child's head or a cherub's head in plaster, probably from the 1920s, possibly modeled on Alfonso's son Fonz, and a head of Gabriel that was part of a much, much larger sculpture that was vandalized. This is all that was salvaged. We also have a St. Francis of Assisi, again a concrete maquette perhaps, probably not from Iannelli's hand, but from the studios, maybe from the 50s. And Iannelli's design, of course, for the Sunbeam toaster, coffee pot. The design was used by Sunbeam on the creamer and a later automatic toaster over and over again. And we have a pair of bunny bookends that are probably were done commercially based on a design that Iannelli showed at that Art Institute show. These are cast out of base, pot metal, and probably done. We really don't know, but they're cute. And we have some of Kalo Foundation's Kalo silver collection from the Kalo shops here in Park Ridge. And the silversmithing tools of Yngve Olsen, who was Bert Olsen's father and was the last of the Kalo silversmiths who the shops closed at his death in 1970. And a book of copies of some of the Kalo designs. And that's about it for the moment. We hope to have more exhibits and more shows and more things to see in the future.